since this tutorial is on SQLite3 and SQL Alchemy, therefore a prerequisite of this particular course is a good understanding of the basic and fundamental concepts of SQL. A very important and good site that you could go through for SQL is W3 Schools. So you just need to type W3 Schools in Google and you would land up to this site. They have made it really easy to understand and follow SQL. So let us look at some basic examples of SQL in this particular site, and they have made it easy in the way that you could try out sample codes on your own directly on their platform instead of having to go back and set up your own database, your own server, and create your own tables. So there are very simple codes that you could try out with. If you just go through the introduction section, it lists down what SQL can do. It's giving you an idea of RDBMS, about SQL, what a table is, what are columns, all of those things. And you have to pay attention to the different syntaxes that are used in SQL. So you could go through these things, what all you could do with SQL, like how to write a select statement, how to update a particular table, how to delete, how to insert, how to create or alter a database, how to drop a table, how to create an index, and a lot of other things. So there they have used this particular customer table as an example, to show you. And what you could do is, if you just wanted to extract information on the customer name and the city the customer belongs to, all you have to write is select customer name, city from your table name, which is customers in this particular case, right? So if you try to execute this, you have to click on try it out yourself, and there you go. This is your editor from where you can write anything that you want out here, and then all you need to do is run SQL, and it gives you the results over here. So you see there are a total of 91 records of customer and city shown in this particular table. And also, if you want to execute your query on a different table in the same database, you can see a lot of these tables out here. So you have the customer tables that you are currently using. Similarly, you have a categories table. If I click on categories now, you can see how the table looks like. You have category ID, name, and description. So you could play around with queries out here and try it out by yourself and see how the results look like. So instead of so in this particular code, we are saying select star from categories. What that would give us is all the records from categories. If we do not want that to happen and we just want a few columns out of it, so all we have to do is write down the names of those columns that we need. The first one is category ID. So let's say we just want to fetch the category ID column from this particular table, categories. If we run it, we just get the category ID column. So that's a very simple select statement that you could use. Now, if you wanted to, try out, if there were duplicates somewhere in your table, let's take an example here. And let's see an example that maybe a table that they have used, right? I think country is a duplicate here in customers table. So if we see here, a lot of customers are there in this table, and there would be customers belonging to the same country. But if we wanted to look at, what are the different countries that we have in this table, what we could do is we could write select country from the customers table. Now, if we run this, we would get duplicates out here, as you can see. Germany once, twice, and then the third time, fourth time, and similarly many times it's getting repeated. But what if we just wanted to know what are the unique countries from this table? So that is where the distinct commands comes really handy. So all you have to write is select distinct country from customers and run this command. So it gives you 21 distinct countries you can see. So that way you could use the distinct command in SQL. Now if you have to filter out your data based on some conditions, you could do that as well. So we will just go back to our customers data and see all the information that we have here. Now for example, we just wanted to look at customers who were from Germany. So in that case, we could just say select all the columns and all the records from customers table where country is our column of interest, on which we provide a filter and say country equal to Germany. And once we run this particular command, we get all the customers information for those who are from Germany. So that's pretty simple. Now if we want to use and or not or certain operators like that, we could use a combination of criteria. Now in this particular example that I showed you here, we just used one filter of country equal to Germany. But what if we wanted all the customers who are from Germany and whose main city is Berlin? So what we can do here is we can use the AND operator and say where city is equal to Berlin. So we could use a combination of certain criteria and we get just one results, as you can see. So we could use a combination of AND, or maybe we could use the OR operator to fetch results according to our criteria. We could also order our results in ascending or descending order, as you can see. So imagine we are looking at a table. Maybe let us see if we can look at this particular table now, which is the maybe the order details table. Okay, yeah, this is fine. So the order details table has around 500 records, 518 to be precise, where you have different order IDs and product IDs and the associated quantities with them. Now what we want to do is, let's say if we want to understand and fetch all the records based on descending order of quantity, so all we need to do is order by quantity and then write the keyword descending, DESC. What that would do is it would sort this particular table from largest to smallest quantity. Now as you can see, the largest quantity of 120 is associated with product ID 55, and this goes in a decreasing order. Similarly, you could change this to ascending in case you wanted to look at ascending order of the table. So that's also pretty simple. Now if you wanted to insert new values into your existing table, now the format is pretty simple. It's pretty much like English language that you follow. So all you have to write is insert into the table name and the different column names that you want to insert into. So for example, we are looking at maybe this same table, right? The order details table. All we need to do is, we know that the order details table contains 4 column IDs. So what we can do is we can simply write insert into the table name is order details, and then what you could write from the syntax here, as you can see, is that you can pass all the column names here, right? And the column names here would be your order detail ID. Okay, it doesn't get pasted out here. Order detail ID, and then you have your order ID, then you have product ID, and then you have quantity. So these are the 4 columns that is out there in this particular table. So all we are saying SQL is that insert into this particular table for this particular columns the following values. Now we could use a value out here, maybe a random value, let's say 500, because okay, order details has 518 records, which means that it has already 500 as a order detail ID. So we give it a 519 number, and then order ID is some random number, maybe 27689, and then you could assign a product ID, which could again be some random number 76, and then you could assign a quantity to it, maybe 1000. So if we run this particular command, it doesn't really show the table back again. So you can see here that it shows you have made changes to the database, and the number of rows that has been affected is 1, because we have just inserted one particular row out here. Now if you wanted to insert multiple rows, you could do that as well.